I'm a gun with the for the Gators.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was just checking to see if you were listening.
From Bethlehem, Louisiana. Hold on a second. Hey, guys! Hey! I'm having a press conference, okay? Thank you.
Momentum, excitement, energy. They say all this stuff, and you know what they mean, but it doesn't describe what you mean. It's just sort of out there.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
I was just worried about, listening to, all your guys' rap poison.
Welcome to Sideline Judgement. Here are your hosts, Sergio and Tyler.
Welcome to Sideline Judgement. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today, Tyler, we are going to talk all about college football teams that have won at least 6 or more regular season games, with the exception of a couple. But that hint means that, of course, we are speaking about bowl season. This is our annual Bowl Picks episode. Listeners, I know you're listening to this on Monday, December 18th at the earliest and saying, hey, didn't bowl season kick off on Saturday? You're right. It did. We missed the first day of games. We just had some stuff in our lives, Tyler. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All bowl games are important and whatnot, but I would argue that they got a little ahead of themselves because bowl season. Everybody knows bowl season doesn't start until we say it starts.
Exactly. They didn't consult Sideline Judgement before this releasing the schedule, and that's their fault, not our fault. So, no, but seriously, we did miss that first day of games. We are going to be picking all of the other games. Tyler and I already technically made our picks because our Bowl Mania, I should say, the ESPN game is live. We have a small group with some family and friends this year, given the late status of our bowl episode. So as it stands, we have 15 people in our bowl pool. And Tyler, I'm going to guess your name is the Y'all Watch Football?
Yeah.
Okay. I just love how I can identify your name. I'm sure you could pick out my name.
Let me look at it. Is it Billy Napier Apologist?
It is indeed Billy Napier Apologist. Yes, that is indeed my Bull Pick'em's name. We will be going through all of the picks that we have made. As always, Tyler,
Oh, wait, no. I was about to make a Kevin Borba joke, but then I misdiagnosed it. Sorry, continue.
You thought the In Herman We Trust was going to be Borba?
I did.
But it's actually Raul because it's he's the FAU coach now. Come on, man. Keep up, Tyler.
I'm tired.
Although I don't blame you, given all of the changes of players and coaches in college football. That is an episode that I believe we will tackle that conversation in the offseason. Given the craziness of what is a lack of actual calendar in college football. But that's for another time. For today, we're going to go through all the bowl games that remain. To date, 7 have happened. Tyler and I are both 4-3 in those first 7 games. Congratulations to my friend Igor, who is 7-0, picking all 7 games at the moment. And Tyler, we're going to go ahead and pick all the rest of them. As always, you are able to change your picks with every game that begins from now going forward, I should say, obviously, because we can't change the picks we've already made. But this, Tyler, right here is our official picks. We cannot go back. We cannot change them once we have made these picks. That is why we record an episode doing them, so that way we have accountability. Are you ready to dive into the bowl season, Tyler?
I'm so ready. I've been ready.
Perfect. Just to go backwards a little bit, the 7 games that already happened are the Myrtle Beach Bowl, which Ohio beat Georgia Southern 41-21. The Cricket Celebration Bowl, which Florida A&M beat Howard in a really good game, 30-26, often known as the Black National Championship game, the Celebration Bowl. HBCUs that participated in that game. That was sponsored by Cricket Wireless. Tyler, I'm assuming you know what Cricket Wireless is.
I'm aware. It's the phone service provider that has the commercials with those like blobby Play-Doh people that I hate.
Yes. Yes. And fun fact, is owned by a celebrity. Do you know this?
Is Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yes, it is Ryan Reynolds.
I thought that was Mint Mobile.
I lied. That is Mint Mobile. You are correct. I'm so sorry.
How dare you mistake Mint Mobile and Cricket Wireless?
One is the blob people.
You ain't a corporate shill like me.
Listen, my W-2 begs to differ, so we're gonna continue forward. That question is brought to you by Sergio playing a game every year where he asks Tyler what the sponsor of each bowl game is and see if Tyler can decide what that sponsor is. It's one of our favorite things to do on this podcast because we get some ridiculous sponsors in college football bowls, don't we, Tyler?
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously there's beloved ones like the Belk Bowl that became the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Then there was I think there was the Pop-Tart Cheez-It Bowl?
It used to be the Cheez-It Bowl. I think now it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is wild. Or no, I think the Cheez-It Bowl folded, and then now like the Citrus Bowl is sponsored by Cheez-Its.
So it was the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Exactly.
Terrible
Now
thing.
it's the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. Before we had the Citrus Bowl, and then we also had the Cheez-It Bowl. And so the Cheez-It Bowl went away, and Cheez-It was like, well, what are we going to do? Not put in a bunch of money in advertising college football bowl season? Of course not. We're just going to become the title sponsor of the Citrus Bowl. So there's that on that. We're going to keep going forward. Another sponsor that is just a classic, consistent, in my opinion, in the royalty of college football bowl sponsors, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. I feel like they've been sponsoring this bowl since I was like 7 or 8 years old. In that game,
it feels like
Jackson,
it sure feels like this is one that just stays consistent.
Yes, it is. In that game, Jacksonville State won their first ever FCS bowl game. I think aplausos for that one, Tyler, right? Your first ever bowl. They played in their first ever FCS bowl and they won that game. They beat Louisiana 34-31 in a pretty good game. So that's awesome to see. Tyler, we then had Miami of Ohio lose to App State 13-9. App State ends up winning that game. And they played in the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. And I did have to sing it. I had to.
You had to sing it.
I had to sing it. We know what that is. So
yeah, we're aware.
We're aware. Then we also had we may have our first. I have no idea what the sponsor is of the year, Tyler. It is Fresno State beating New Mexico State 37-10 in the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. So we know the New Mexico Bowl. That's something that we've had in the past. What is Isleta, Tyler? This new sponsor. Oh my God, I just Googled it and this is hilarious. What is it, Tyler? What do you think it is?
Okay. Is it like a
New Mexico? I want you to think New Mexico.
Is it very New Mexico?
It's very, you find that in that part of the country. Not specific to New Mexico, but in that, since you are now a New Mexico, savant.
Frequenter, apparently.
Of course, yes. Frequent flyers on the New Mexico.
I feel like there's a lot riding on me answering this question. More than I was intending for your normal.
Yes.
They manufacture Hatch Green
Hi, Hannah.
chili.
How are you? No, I'm kidding.
Do they manufacture Hatch Green chili?
They do not.
That's the most New Mexico thing I could think of.
It is very New Mexico. That's what you said is very New Mexico. Do you want me to just tell you?
Yes, please.
Tyler,
I don't want to.
Isleta is a located on a low lava flow and gravel bench on the west bank of the Rio Grande. Isleta is a southern Tiwa Indian pueblo. Its Tiwa name, if you are a native person of Native American descent listening to this, please forgive me for the butchering I'm about to do. Its Tiwa name, Tuswegva? I'm going to go with Tuswegva. I really apologize if I messed that up. It means kick flint for a popular game. So we're thinking Native American. That's why I said that part of the country. We're thinking that. Tyler, Isleta is a resort and casino. Tyler is head down on the table, laughing.
All that to get it's like you gamble there.
Yeah, you do some gambling, which I've been known to do.
They got
every once in a while.
Everywhere.
They got casinos everywhere. So that's pretty cool. The fact that given all the sports gambling that's been perpetrated into our society lately, that a bowl game is sponsored by a casino and resort. So that's interesting. We're going to move forward to the Los Angeles Bowl, which saw UCLA beat Boise State 35-32. That LA Bowl, Tyler, is sponsored by Starco Brands. Now, I don't know what Starco Brands is. Do you know what Starco Brands is?
No clue.
Okay.
Wasn't
Tyler,
this game hosted by Gronk, though?
it was hosted by Gronk, but I decided to omit that because I didn't think that Gronk was a sponsor. I considered Gronk to be a paid
I don't
employee of the
disagree.
bowl game. Or unless that's a different LA Bowl, which could very well be.
No, because I saw on Twitter last night that he tried singing the national anthem, and it was so hilariously off pitch. It's like worse than that Fergie time with the NBA.
I'm sorry. Timeout. I would not be doing my relationship justice if I didn't stand up here and defend Fergie's national anthem as a piece of artwork that needs to be inducted into the Library of Congress.
Oh,
that national anthem.
It's performed.
It's not just the audio, Tyler. It's not just the audio. It is the audio with the broadcast feed where you see Draymond Green look at Steph and Kevin Durant and they all put their head down and laugh. Like it's the looking at Giannis laughing.
I mean,
it's everything.
Academy Award for best editing. Like
it should have been submitted for best short feature. I'm just saying. It might qualify, might do well. So, all that to say, yes, sponsored by Gronk or hosted by Gronk, but I didn't want to include that because I didn't think that it was a relevant thing there. But yes, Starco Brands, Tyler, for the sake of time, only invents consumer products with behavior changing technologies that spark excitement in the everyday. Which is some real big corporate speak for, hey man, we make a bunch of stuff. Oh, cool. So they make Winona Pure. When the world temporarily stopped going to the movies, we brought the movie-going experience home with the first indulgent theater popcorn taste powered by air. That sounds like it was AI generated.
Powered by air?
Listen, it seems to be like a popcorn seasoning spray that gets put on your popcorn that makes it taste like movie theater butter. And that is among one of the things that they make. They also make what they call whip shots, which looks to be sponsored by Cardi B because she is in the picture on the website. And it is in a stagnant alcohol category. We've partnered with global artist Cardi B to bring the fun back with the only alcoholic whipped cream on the market. They also own Art of Sport, a body skincare line. There's a picture of Kobe Bryant right here, which is a little creepy. Skylar.
This is not real.
Soylent. They're behind Soylent, if you've heard of Soylent. So yeah, they basically make a bunch of stuff. So interesting.
I love that we couldn't narrow it down past that.
Nope.
We tried.
We
tried to look at what they made, be like, can we narrow it down? It's like, no, they just make stuff.
Listen, if your inventory includes a movie theater butter popcorn seasoning spray, alcoholic whipped cream sponsored by Cardi B, or with Cardi B as a spokesperson, and the Art of Sport with a picture of Kobe Bryant, I'm just gonna chalk you into you make stuff.
Yeah, like what demographic are you trying to hit?
Humans. They're looking to find humans. That is a demographic. So that happened. And then the last bowl game that has already happened is the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, Tyler, which was won by Texas Tech 34 as they beat California, who only scored 14 points. Tyler, I think we know Radiance Technologies. I think this is a constant one that we've seen before.
Yeah.
What are we thinking, Tyler? Just for the sake of the brand.
Wasn't it like military industrial complex stuff?
It is like a modern day military industrial complex because they do.
Because I remember in a previous year, I was just like, hey, it seems obvious, but I'm gonna go with solar power, and it was like close. It's actually weapons.
Yes, well, it's weapons powered by solar power
by the sun.
Yeah, there's a whole section on their website that says directed energy. Directed energy, including both high energy lasers and high power microwave, has become one of the U.S. military's key modernization weapon strategies. Radiance Technologies has been at the forefront of this directed energy push, with our role as developer and integrator of key critical components, system analytics, propaganda. Sorry, that says propagation, not propaganda. My fault. Freudian slip. Lethality and live fire operations and tests. So, dun. Those are the bowls that have happened, Tyler. let us move forward into the bowls that will happen. We begin with Monday, 2:30 Eastern, the 18th, the famous Toastery Bowl, which pits Old Dominion against Western Kentucky. Tyler, what is famous Toastery? I think I know this one.
Is it toaster ovens?
No, it's like a restaurant. It's a brunch, like a nationwide brunch
I had
place.
no clue about that.
Yeah, I've seen it around. I've seen it around over here and stuff. I saw it a lot in when I lived in South Carolina. There was one like right near the apartment I lived at. That's the first place I ever saw one. So that's kind of more normal though, you know. A brunch
That's pretty
place.
normal. Like
We need the Waffle House Bowl. That's what we need.
that's what we need. Oh god,
And it needs to be like 2 scrape the barrel 6-6 G5 teams.
They need to have a wins cap. Like you are not allowed to have more wins than this to play in this game.
Sorry, if you win 8 games or more, you are not welcome at the Waffle House.
You're disqualified.
Bowl.
Like
The Waffle House Bowl is played.
Like the Duke's Mayo Bowl always tweets out like whenever like Alabama or Ohio State get to 6 wins, they're like Alabama is like officially eligible for the Duke's Mayo Bowl. It needs to be like that, where it's just like as soon as the team gets 8 wins, they tweet out it's like you are no longer eligible for the Waffle House Bowl.
They are now ineligible for the Waffle House Bowl. That would be incredible. No, the famous Toastery. It is a brunch place. Tyler, Old Dominion, Western Kentucky. Who you got?
I have Western Kentucky.
Okay, well, I have Old Dominion.
Ooh,
I have Old
going
Dominion.
against the grain here a little bit.
I'm going against the grain, and it's funny because Old Dominion is a -200 favorite compared to Western Kentucky's +170. But when you look at the people who've picked the game, 84% of people on ESPN's Capital One Bowl Mania have picked Western Kentucky. So you're not alone there. Okay. Good pick, Tyler. I like it. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, which pits Marshall against UTSA. That's Tuesday, 9:00 Eastern on ESPN. I mean, Scooters Coffee obviously seems like a coffee brand. Like
I would venture so much as to say yes.
You know, it's less fun when we get like sponsors where the product is in the name. You know?
Yeah, we really gotta
we gotta have a conversation with whoever's doing these.
Yeah, like they want to make it very clear. They don't want to make it very clear who we are. So it's like we're Scooters Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the Frisco Bowl.
Scooters. Why do we sound? What's that? Scooters. Isn't that the Delco like Philadelphia? Scooters.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
That sounds like Scooters Coffee. So that is a coffee company. They are going to be powering. It's kind of ironic that a coffee company is sponsoring a game that is taking place Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's kind of funny that that's happening. Tyler, I have picked UTSA. Good. I assume you're going to be picking UTSA.
I have also picked UTSA. Okay. Although I don't like betting against Marshall.
Marshall's one of those teams that's just, you don't know when they're going to be like, oh my God, look at Marshall versus, oh my God, look at Marshall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just vary a lot is the thing. Mm-hmm. But they're always frisky. But I'm going to go with UTSA. I think they're just better.
So they're always frisky, even though that's why they're in the Frisco Bowl. Ha, 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 ha.
You're funny.
No,
anyone ever tell you that?
I have my days. You know, you don't, but I appreciate you doing it on the air. Next up, Tyler, no games on Wednesday the 20th. We move to Thursday the 21st, which I actually don't like that there's no games on Wednesday the 20th because Wednesday night I'm flying to Virginia to see my family for Christmas. And I really wish there was a game I could watch on the airplane, but there is.
Yeah,
none, so.
That's pretty. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, looks like it's downloading The Crown to my iPad. That's what's gonna happen this time. Thursday, the 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, the bowl game closest to me. I'm not counting the Orange Bowl because I can't afford to go to the Orange Bowl. I could afford to go to this game if I was home, but I won't be home. We know roofclaim.com. They've been the sponsor now for a couple of years for the Boca Bowl. You know, they do roofing stuff.
I mean, they're not the Morabadi cherry. They're not like the Morabadi like cherry bowl like they used to.
That is one of the coolest fun facts in college football that's like irrelevant to everyone else, but like really important to me. The fact that the Boca Bowl has been a thing for like 4 years now, and the first one was the like cherry whatever, and all of the other ones have been sponsored by Roof Claim. It's like a one-time thing that happened that only I care about because the game is at the stadium that I went to growing up. Like, really weird. This pits 2 6-6 teams, in my opinion, 2 6-6 teams that are on an upward trajectory for next year. I'm actually very interested to see this football game between Syracuse and USF, because I think both of these teams are looking upward for 2024, and I'm very excited to see which team gets the momentum going into the offseason. You are smiling.
Well, I would say you could call this an Orange Bowl because it's the Syracuse Orange playing against South Florida. This is the People's Orange Bowl. Certainly isn't Florida State, Georgia.
People's Orange Bowl. The People's Orange Bowl. I love you, Tyler. There's some things that I can spend hours laboring over a rundown and trying to come up with cool stuff to do on the podcast and segments and stuff. And then you just throw something at me without even discussing it, and it's the best idea I've heard all week. The People's Orange Bowl. Applauses for Tyler, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well done.
We have our moments.
Which side of the People's Orange Bowl are you taking? Are you taking the side with a brand new head coach who seems to be recruiting and just landed CJ Stroud in the transfer portal? Syracuse did earlier today. Don't know if you saw that, but
that's not CJ
pretty
Stroud.
Big deal.
It was Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord. I said CJ Stroud
leaving the Texans to go back to college to play Syracuse of all places would be fantastic. And I thought about that today. It's like, how cool would it be if like you could elect to go back to college like after a year in the NFL?
like you got like a trial season. It's like, you know what? I'm actually not ready for the league. I'm gonna go back for another year.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Syracuse finally I thought they got rid of every season for the past 2-3 years. I've been like, they got rid of Dino Babers, right? Like, that was fun, but they got rid of him, right? And it didn't happen until this year. But they're on an upward trajectory. Tommy DeVito's doing great in the league, so that helps them out too, apparently. Sergio's doing the Italian hand motions.
I will say, let me interject here. This is our Tommy DeVito parentheses. I was driving back from lunch. I went to church with my girlfriend and her family today, and afterwards we went to get lunch. Going back from lunch, my girlfriend had to go somewhere else, so she took her car, left. My car was parked at their house, so I drove back with her parents to pick up my car and then go, come home so we could do this recording. And I was in the back seat of the car with her dad, and I brought up and I said, Vince, who is Alexa's father and is an Italian American. I said, Vince, have you seen the stuff going on with the New York Giants quarterback? And he looked me dead in the eyes and said, oh, you mean Tommy Cutlets? And I went, cool. Thanks. Got it, Vince. Yep. So yeah. Okay. We then spent the next 10 minutes looking at different Tommy DeVito themed memes and TikTok videos. So very nice bonding moment between my girlfriend's father and I. So anyway, that's it. Beautiful. That's all I wanted to say. The Italians love Tommy DeVito. That's all I got to say.
I can only imagine why. But there's also, so Syracuse has been on an upward trajectory, or at least the vibes are pointing up. I don't know about on the field results as much, but new head coach, recruiting well, got Kyle McCord coming over. And USF has been on a real upward trajectory. Alex Golesh comes in first. I think it's his first year or his second year? First year. And he's injected a real shot of life into the program. I know that everyone, like, the vibes are all in Syracuse right now, but I'm going to pick South Florida.
I am also picking South Florida.
Oh, wow. See,
I am.
This is why.
This is honestly like, and we're spending a lot of time on a game that we didn't think we'd spend this much time on, but I think it's because these are two very interesting case studies in how a program that isn't one of the quote unquote big boys, how a program like that can reinvent themselves, stay relevant, and make an impact and showcase that this is a viable option for players who may be overlooked recruiting wise, to go ahead and come in and play college football, both at two different geographical levels, right? South Florida is, with the way that, Golesh has kind of played in this first season, the announcement of USF's on-campus stadium that's expected to begin construction next year, and I think completed by like 2026 or 27, something like that. Supposed to look nice, supposed to be good. They're going to have an on-campus stadium for the first time. And it looks like things are trajecting upward for both of these programs. I think that is very important for teams that can pick up and get that second or third tier of player within feudal recruiting grounds, right? Obviously, Florida is a much better recruiting ground than upstate New York, but Syracuse can do kind of what they're doing, where they picked up Kyle McCord and brought him in. Syracuse's head coach was the best. Their new head coach was the literal best recruiter in the country at Georgia. So like, there's a whole lot of optimism around those things. I think this is going to be this is a matchup where if you really like college football, like if you're listening to this podcast, you really like college football. If you're like Tyler and I, you're going to really want to watch this. Like, I highly recommend watching this matchup. I'm going to see if I can get at least the first half of this while I'm spending time with my family up in Virginia. I know my brother and Raul will like to see this game. I'm very interested in it, but there's only so much football I can lobby when I'm up there spending time with my mom.
Yeah, you gotta be
especially
real
given I got Dolphins Cowboys on Christmas Eve. I really need to hold my chips for that game. So I might just push a little bit. And
you got to pick your battles here, because I feel the same way, because my girlfriend Hannah is going to be spending Christmas with us, which does mean that I have to be really like pick my spots about when I'm going to be like, hey, we're going to watch football now. And I'm like,
but you also have like backup up there well, I can't say I don't have backup either with Raul and my brother at Dolphins game, but you have backup in terms of your girlfriend is on the whole other end of the spectrum of like she is yay sports ball in terms of how she grew up. And did you see the EPA on the third down possessions in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter? That's where we grew up. So we got to find a balance. We just got to find a balance,
Yeah.
So moving forward, speaking of girlfriends, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl pits USF against Georgia Tech. That is Friday night, the 22nd of December at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. Union Home Mortgage, we know this. They're a mortgage company. Very easy in that sense. UCF and Georgia Tech, these are two teams that have met in the regular season a couple of times in the past 5 or 6 years. I can tell you with my ears to the ground of the UCF faithful, they were not excited about this bowl game because, number one, it was Georgia Tech, and they were like, "Oh, we've like beat them twice in the past like 3-4 years. Like we don't need to do this." We were thinking of going to this game, like my friend group, and then Georgia Tech came out, and it was announced it was a Friday at 6:30 before Christmas, and we were like, "I think we're out on this one this year, guys." And we kind of all unanimously were like, "Yeah, gonna have to pass on that." So, all that said, I still have UCF. John Rice Plumlee's going to play in this game because he's not one of those top tier quarterbacks. He kind of needs to improve his draft stock. And I think this is going to be a full Gus Malzahn, run the football, triple option. Let's try to showcase John Rice Plumlee for the late rounds of the draft kind of situation. So I got UCF. What about you, Tyler?
I actually also have UCF. I think they're both 6-6 teams, and Georgia Tech has played a lot better than I thought they would this season. But I think, especially with John Rice Plumlee coming back, I feel like UCF is going to have a little bit more to play with in this, a little bit more juice for this particular game.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, I could easily see Georgia Tech winning, but it's going to be one of those things where like Georgia Tech winning needs like a couple things to happen. That's like they could really muddy the game up. But I think most universes, in most worlds, possible outcomes, UCF's going to win this game. So I'm going to pick that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Not thinking too much. And that's not to say I don't think that Georgia Tech played well this year or any of that. It's just the game's in Tampa, so it's a de facto home game for UCF. All those things you said, I'm with you. So I'm there. Saturday, the 23rd of December, it is a noon kickoff on ESPN. Northern Illinois takes on Arkansas State in the Camellia Bowl, which we know Camellia is a flower. And the Camellia Bowl is played in Alabama. And they have a luncheon and everything. It's in Montgomery. So I believe Camellia is the state flower of the state of Alabama. So that's where that comes in. So Tyler, Northern Illinois, Arkansas State, a middle of the pack MAC team, a middle of the pack Sun Belt team. Who do you have?
I have Arkansas State.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Great talk. Tyler.
I don't have any more analysis.
All right. Another game that if you are a college football fan, you should try to pencil in should try to pencil in some time to watch it. And that is the 76 Birmingham Bowl between Duke and Troy. So both of these teams will have an interim head coach. I do not know who the interim head coach is on either side, but we do know that Duke has hired Manny Diaz, the former University of Miami head coach, former Penn State defensive coordinator, as their coach.
Actually, I
think it's a great fit. Think it's a great fit.
I think it's a great fit.
And for those wondering where the silly season section of the podcast is here, a whole 28 minutes or so in, we are not doing that for this episode or for the college football playoff preview. We will do a full scale silly season recap because it kind of slowed down a bit. We will do a full scale silly season recap when we get to maybe the end of January, early February, so that we can really break down, okay, what are the new staffs, who is where, what are realistic expectations, all that kind of stuff. So just so you know, that's why we haven't done that. And then Troy's head coach is gone. He left for Tulane, and the replacement, John Summerall. Thank you. I was like, oh my God, his name escaped me. John Summerall has left for Tulane. So he will not be back as the Troy Trojans. Great hire for Tulane. That's one of those, their defense is going to be incredible. And instead, Greg Gasparotto has been named the interim head coach. I do not see a official news hire in terms of who Troy has hired permanently, so I think it's still going on. The last I see here is that defensive coordinator Greg Gasparotto will serve as the interim coach while the school searches. So yeah, I don't have any news on a new head coach as of right now. So Tyler, two good defenses, two defensive-minded programs who have two defensive-minded coaches at the helm now, continuing that path. Troy will see what the permanent guy is, but the defensive coordinator being promoted kind of shows, all right, at least we're keeping some consistency for this bowl game.
Well, the big trump card that Troy is going to have in this game is likely going to stay put for this matchup.
So before we get to our picks, Tyler, do you know what 76 is?
Isn't that the oil company, the gas company?
Aplausos for Tyler, ladies and gentlemen. Aplausos for Tyler.
Thank you.
Yes, it's like a gas station. It's like a
would have been better for them to sponsor the Independence Bowl, because it would have been like the 76 Independence Bowl.
Oh yeah, that did what
76 Independence Bowl. But
presented by Lockheed Martin. Like, is that what we're
Sorry, I forget that Lockheed Martin is pretty apt.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, to football analysis.
Football
analysis.
A
big part of this that we haven't talked about is that Duke's starting quarterback Riley Leonard is officially transferring to Notre Dame.
Yes.
Continuing the long tradition started last year of mid-tier ACC quarterback going to Notre Dame.
Mid-tier ACC quarterback playing at a private school going to Notre Dame.
It's weird that it's happened 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it. Okay, super sidebar on that note. I do find it weird. Like, it's one of those things. I'm super for the transfer portal and NIL. We've talked about this a million times. But it is weird that I'm like, is anybody recruiting quarterbacks to like stay and play as like, because it really just feels like we just reshuffle it every year, which I don't hate. I think the NIL has a lot to do with that. But
I think you're onto something fantastic. I agree with you. I would like to make that an off-season episode topic.
Oh yeah, I just Riley Leonard brought it up to me because I'm just kind of like, and it is more so on the Notre Dame side of things. I'm like, have you really not recruited anyone that you feel good about? But that is a conversation for another day. But the idea that they won't have Riley Leonard in this game, they won't have Mike Elko, who I think brings a lot from a game management perspective, and Troy will still probably have at their full disposal their biggest thing, which is their defense. I'm going to go with Troy.
I'm also going with you, and it is for those exact reasons. I think that even if Riley Leonard was still with Duke, even if he was fully healthy, the Troy defense is like absurd. Like, it was, like, I think it showcased a lot about the App State offense, the fact that they were able to put up some points, even though they were dominated the whole game. The fact that they were even able to put up some points on that Troy defense in the conference championship game. So I'm with you. I have Troy for those same reasons. Speaking of Lockheed Martin, Saturday, the 23rd at 3:30 on ABC. Following that into the Birmingham Bowl that we just talked about on ABC will be the Air Force Falcons taking on JMU.
We did it.
We did it. We did it, guys. Don't let anyone tell you that it was because there was a lack of 6-6 teams and they needed to pull in the James Madison and Jacksonville State before they pulled 5-7 teams per NCAA rules. Don't let anybody tell you that that's the real reason why. The real reason is the fact that we have been advocating for the Dukes all season to be bowl eligible, and they finally did it, Tyler. It was us. It was Sideline Judgement.
Yeah, this is about
all
us.
Of our listeners. It's not about the actual technicalities that happened, the reason they were in there. No, it's about us. Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. We don't need to go into military industrial complex, do we?
We've done this for years, man. We've
done this for
years. People know our stance.
People know exactly where we fall on. I think let's write a blank check to the Pentagon. Just gonna stop there before I get in.
Okay. Football.
JMU. I got JMU.
I got JMU as well. Although I'm gonna be real. I was flipping flopping back and forth with this because JMU has been better, 11-1. They did lose their head coach, who's been hired at Indiana, which we think is a good fit. Air Force was started off real hot this season, kind of cooled off, 8-4. But Air Force doesn't have an interim head coach, and JMU does. This is one of those situations I could see this being a little bit more dicey or tight than because Air Force is a good team. However, it's one of those situations. I don't personally feel that Curt Cignetti, head coach of JMU, I don't feel like JMU's success was entirely predicated on their head coach giving them any form of schematic advantage. Like he's obviously, I think, was very good there, but it's one of those situations where I think JMU's roster and team are very good, and he has built them to be very good, and that I think will transition past him into this. It'll transition into this game. I don't think it not be a situation of, I don't know, example, like Lincoln Riley leaving, and then it's like, okay, your main offensive play caller and the whole like identity of your team is missing for a game, you know? This is one of those situations where it's like, oh, Curt Cignetti, like, to me, I don't feel that he brings that as much as he's just built a really good team. So I think the really good team is going to work for this game. So I'm going to go with James Madison, but I could see this being really close. You're muted, Sergio.
I'm leaving that in. It's too much content. I'm leaving that in. What I was saying was, I agree with you, and I'm going with JMU as well. But I think the reason Air Force is a good team, I agree with you on all those aspects. But I think what kind of separates them is the fact that JMU had one slip up against an App State team that we can all say had a slow start to the season, right? I think picked it up on the back end. Looked a bit more like the App State we've grown to know over the past 5 to 10 years. Whereas Air Force really kind of collapsed at the end of the season. And in games where they probably should have won. They should have won the Commanders in Chiefs trophy. They ended up not winning it. It was Army because Army ended up being Navy. But it was kind of weird to me how they kind of fell apart. So I don't know if I can count on that. I'd rather go on the reliability and consistency of JMU versus, even though I think Air Force has a higher upside as a team, I think that, but who knows? Maybe, they hear maybe they hear the $1.5 million flyover of wasted tax money and they're like inspired. I don't know. Who knows? Moving forward, Saturday, the 23rd, 3:30 Eastern at the same time as the Armed Forces Bowl on ESPN. We're going to see Utah State take on Georgia State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
A classic.
Another bowl sponsor that's slowly creeping its way. I look at this as like comparing like athletes, and it's like a basketball player early in their career, right? Like right now we're looking at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really take off and to stardom. And it's like early in his year, it was like, hey man, that guy's got potential. Let's see if he can put it together. That's how I feel about some of these bowls. It's like, hey man, this is like 8 years in a row sponsoring this bowl game. Like we need to start putting some respect on their name. They're deep playoff runs for these bowl game sponsors. All right. We need to start putting some respect on them. So shout out to and also, who doesn't like potatoes? Like, come on, man. Who doesn't like potatoes?
I mean, come on.
I'll kick it off here, Tyler. I got Georgia State here. This is purely do I trust a middle of the pack West Coast football team or a middle of the pack deep South SEC team. I'm sorry, Sun Belt team in the SEC footprint was what I wanted to say. Like Georgia State. So for me, I'm going to take Georgia State on that one. I know that it's not as popular. They're an underdog, and also 76% of people on the ESPN Bowl Mania game have picked Utah State, but I'm going against the grain. I'm going to pick Georgia State for that reason.
I'm going to go with Utah State. Mostly, and I do based a lot of this. You know what Georgia State's record in the last 5 games has been?
No, what is it?
0-5.
Oh, this is a team that started 6-1.
Yeah, yep. And they are 6-6. They have now that includes a 1-point loss to Old Dominion, but then multiple then 4 straight double-digit losses.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce I am picking Utah State instead. No, I'm gonna stick with Georgia State. But that does give me some concern.
I do think that's an interesting point to make and I don't disagree with it, of the whole trust the footprint, trust the athletes, because it's very interesting. Utah State is also 6-6.
Can I pause you there, because I just want to elaborate on that. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's not a belief that I hold true across every level of college football. To me, I think it's the most glaring in this middle of the pack group of 5 kind of competition, right? I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that that's the case in the FCS as much either. I think that the best kind of players kind of end up going to the best programs there, regardless of geographical alliance and allegiance there. But for me, that's the case. And then on the top end, if you're the best team if you're Ohio State, it doesn't matter that the best players are in Florida, you're going to get them in Florida, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I just want to clarify that. I'm not like a SEC. You know what I mean? I'm just okay.
Yeah, but I do agree. I do think on a lower level, the lower you go, it's just Georgia State ain't getting people from Hawaii. They don't got the resources to go out and recruit people like that. So they're getting people from their footprint, and I would trust the footprint of. So it's tough thing, because Utah State's getting the Mormon footprint, which means you're getting some grown adults, which may be good or bad for you.
It's funny you say that. I saw Book of Mormon on Wednesday. So
oh yeah,
I took Alexa and Vince, her brother. They really liked it, by the way. They really liked it. So
good.
All right, so you're going to take Utah State?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I respect it. I see it. 7:00 Eastern, that same Saturday, the 23rd on ESPN. Eastern Michigan takes on South Alabama, 2 6-6 teams. They are participating in the 68 Ventures Bowl. Tyler, what is the 68 Ventures Bowl? What is going on here? Okay, I'll tell you for a fact the game is in Mobile, Alabama. So South Alabama's going to be a home team there. 68 Ventures, title sponsor. Okay, let me click. Let me see what they're doing. Do you want to take a guess?
Venture capitalism is the best thing I could think of.
Honestly, it's like the blue collar version of venture capitalism. 68 Ventures. 68 Ventures is the parent company for numerous operating businesses along the Gulf Coast, which focus on development, investment, and construction. That's kind of the blue collar version of venture capitalism. They don't invest in tech, they invest in construction. That's really blue collar.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they're purpose-driven, culturally focused organization, strong operational track record, largest single-family developer within the region, and reaching the rank of one of the top 100 private home builders.
Okay, keyword kings.
Come on now. We know a press release.
Okay, keywords.
I have South Alabama for the similar argument in terms of region.
So do I. Go Jags.
Awesome. Go Jags. Duval. Hey, listen, we are all Duval tonight. Listeners, we're recording Sunday, December 17th. Massive game on the line for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and also a massive game on the line for the Miami Dolphins as the Jags take on the Ravens. The Dolphins blanked the Jets 30-0 today, so we did our part. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I hope you're really familiar with horse tranquilizers, because you're about to get really friendly with them.
Trevor Lawrence has done such a good job of mitigating his interceptions this year, truly, and he's just playing so much more confident. And then last game against the Browns, he threw 3. And everybody's like, where'd that come from? I was like, I can tell you where that comes from. He's on every painkiller known to man.
That man is high, okay? That man cannot feel anything. Oh, man. Well, get ready to learn. Get ready. You know the meme, the Adam Silver, get ready to learn whatever. Yeah. Get ready to learn painkiller, buddy. All right. So we both have South Alabama. 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Probably the best game in this time slot for sure. Better than the game we just talked about. SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. The Northwestern Wildcats, who went 7-5 this year. Like, what?
I still can't believe it.
Incredible coaching job. Take on the Utah Utes, who went 8-4. This is a game that the Gators played in last year. All right, RIP. Tyler, SRS Distribution. We went through this last year. Do you remember what it was? I'll give you a hint. It ties into the previous sponsor, 68 Ventures.
Wasn't it like because I remember distribution, I thought it was like a mailing company, but it's not. It was like
Correct.
construction movement, like a construction equipment movement company.
Look at you. Roofing materials and building supplies.
Damn.
Our SRS Distribution is the fastest growing network of independent roofing and building supply distributors serving the United States.
It's all coming back to me now.
Well done, Tyler. I wonder if building those homes is going to help you decide who you're going to pick between Northwestern and Utah.
I trust the stronger foundation, as in the older foundation. I'm gonna trust Utah. I've been really impressed with thank you for the slow clap. I've been really impressed with what Northwestern's done this year, and Utah kind of like disappeared from the profile later in the season. But it's Utah, man. Like Kyle Whittingham's a good coach. Like
when you have like a third string running back playing wide receiver 1, it's gonna happen. You know, like they had crazy injuries.
The
this
juice
season.
A lot of teams run into this in the year. That the juice just runs out. Yeah. Kyle Whittingham is squeezing blood out of a rock, but eventually that is going to come out.
It's not because his hand is bleeding from the holding the rock. Come on.
He is just like, there's got to be some dinosaurs that died in this goddamn thing.
I know how fossil fuels work. Get out of here.
But eventually that runs out.
Yep, I agree.
But not today.
I agree. I just do think, like you said, the infrastructure of the programs here is a big deal. I'll take Utah. 10:30, the last game on that Saturday night. The Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. San Jose State takes on Coastal Carolina. Easy Post, Tyler, we talked about this one last year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a shipping company. We knew that. Okay. But who do you got? San Jose State or Coastal Carolina? They're both 7-5. The country's relatively split. 41% for San Jose, 59% for Coastal. But San Jose is a -400 favorite, while Coastal's a +320 underdog. So pretty big swing in terms of gambling odds here.
I really think that the thing here is that the region. I think the Hawaii aspect is going to help San Jose State a lot.
Yes,
and so I'm going to go with San Jose State.
Yeah, these are two programs that are very used to playing geographically close to a body of water. So that part of the trip to Hawaii won't affect them. But maybe it's the extra 7 hours on an airplane that might help out San Jose.
It takes a day. Let me tell you, I only had to just 3 hours when I went to Hawaii. It takes a day.
Incredible. On top of that, Grayson McCall, he is no longer the quarterback at Coastal Carolina. He has decided to commit not to UCF, where he was rumored to go, but somewhere else. Do you remember where it is? I'm like stalling because I don't remember.
It wasn't Liberty, right?
No, it's not. That would be hilarious. No. Grayson McCall. Oh, Tyler. Grayson McCall is going to have the honor of leading the NC State Wolfpack to 9 wins next year. He's the next in line.
A prestigious honor.
A prestigious honor, Tyler. So yeah, they're without him as well. So I will also take San Jose State. We both got San Jose State there. All right. We then Christmas Eve, no games. Well, very important game in the National Football League, but Talk about that later. No games on Christmas Day, which means we come back on Tuesday the 26th at 2:00 Eastern on ESPN. The Quick Lane Bowl, another one of those sponsors that's quickly entering, pun intended, the prestigious bowl sponsor Hall of Fame, I guess. The Sideline Judgement Bowl sponsor Hall of Fame, I think is what we're gonna have to call it. We should come up with that. That would be good.
It's the Frank Gore tier of it's like it's not necessarily that you've done anything too crazy. You just are still around.
Like, how do your ACLs?
How are you still doing that? You've never been amazing, but it's that you're still good.
Yes. I think we need to honorary mention the Belk Bowl, like that. We need to have an honorary wing of bowl sponsors. The Belk Bowl, the Cheez-It Bowl, the Bad Boy Mowers. We need an honorary wings. R.I.P. King. We need honorary wings of the Sideline Judgement Bowl sponsor Hall of Fame. So we'll come up with a process later for that. Quick Lane, Minnesota at 5-7 is taking on Bowling Green at 7-5. Minnesota is not only being picked more, 69% of the population. Nice. They are also a -185 favorite compared to Bowling Green's +155 and 31% of people picking them. Who do you have in this game? Oh, by the way, Quick Lane, the oil company, we know, changing mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Played in Detroit, obviously. So there you
go. Well, as we all know, this is a game between two mid-tier MAC teams, which is every team in the MAC. I got him. That one got him.
It's because it's Minnesota. You can't argue they're not. Like,
they're a MAC team. I'm gonna go with the PJ Fleck Golden Gophers. I'm gonna go with Minnesota 5.
I actually went with Bowling Green.
I don't feel good about this. I need to be very clear, but
I don't think I'm wired to pick a 5-7 team to win a bowl.
Well, I got to exercise that I have the Power 5 bias, and you have to exercise that you're like, but they suck.
Yeah, that's it. This is literally it. You can be power.
I just will never believe in a MAC team.
Suck.
You cannot get me to believe in a MAC team, a true MAC team.
I honestly think this is my only MAC selection of the season. I really do think so. All righty, we both. You have Minnesota. I have Bowling Green. 5:30 on Tuesday the 26th on ESPN. Rice is taking on Texas State in the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. I'm pretty sure this used to be the First Responders Bowl, plural, and now it's the First Responder Bowl, which makes me wonder, who is it? Who is that first
responder?
Who is it? Who is that first
Somebody.
Responder? Tyler, are we aware they were here, they've been here now a couple years of what Serve Pro is. Do you remember what Serve Pro was?
I really should, but I don't remember.
Dude, honestly, me too.
Like, we do this every year, and I've started to remember some of them, but this one I'm just blanking on. Is it a mortgage
right now?
Is it a mortgage
company? It is commercial and residential restoration services.
Oh.
So okay. Renovations and stuff. Or you need your plumbing fixed. I don't know. I don't own a home. I don't the way it's going, I don't know if I ever will.
Brother, you don't gotta tell me about that.
Listen, we had the unfortunate burden of being born at the end of the 20th century. Not our fault. Rice and Texas State.
What's the phrase? Born too early to explore the stars, born too late to explore the earth, born just the right time to not be able to afford a home.
Yep. That's us. Capitalism. That's us. Yeah. Yes. I remember the first iPhone, but at what cost?
What's that for me?
What's that going to do? Exactly. Rice and Texas State. Who do you have, Tyler?
Texas State. I have Texas State.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both.
By the way, shout out to friends of mine, Hannah Hurd, Sophie Musicola, fellow PAs, the work on hacks, Texas State Bobcat alum.
Look at them.
Okay.
7-5. Good season. Love to see it. 9:00 Eastern, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which we know Guaranteed Rate.
Mm-hmm.
The mortgage company. We know that.
Yeah.
They are having the UNLV Rebels take on the Kansas Jayhawks. This will be a fun game. UNLV finished 9-4. Kansas finished 8-4. UNLV, believe, lost in the conference championship game to Boise State. It's really interesting because UNLV is a good football team, and Kansas is as well. I'm not saying that at all. But Kansas is a minus 425 favorite. UNLV is a plus 340 underdog. Only 13% of people have picked UNLV. I say all of this to say I picked Kansas, but I'm just surprised that I wish you could put in. I'm surprised they're that much of an underdog, I should say. Like, I don't think they should be plus 340. Like, this is looking awfully delicious in terms of maybe I can take them money line closer to the beginning of the game kind of thing because of the odds, because of the favors, So I have Kansas. Who do you have?
I also have Kansas, although like Barry Odom's done a really good job at UNLV, and I really liked what they've become. And it's feel like we're all just glossing over 8-4 Kansas, like
because they did it with a backup quarterback, which the committee told us doesn't matter, right? Who cares about that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Except for it would have mattered if it was like a team that was just like, oh, remember that your Ohio State won it all with a backup quarterback? Wasn't that crazy? Sorry, I don't want to get into this.
If Alabama did this without Jalen Milroe, they'll be in the playoff. But anyway, continue.
Anyway, I'm gonna go with Kansas as well. I do think this could be a fun game though.
This is a branding thing for us too. Like, we got to go with Kansas, right?
You can't not pick Kansas.
Of course.
You can't.
Wednesday the 27th, 2:00 Eastern, ESPN. A fun bowl game. Because I think that Virginia Tech, who is going to be taking on Tulane in the Military Bowl presented by GoBowling.com, what a mouthful. I think this will be a really, really fun game. What is crazy to me is that Tulane at 11-2 is a plus 260 underdog, and Virginia Tech at 6-6 is a minus 320 favorite. Now, the general public is picking Tulane. 80% of people have picked them in this tournament. Before we pick the game, though, we know the Military Bowl. Tyler, they are presented by GoBowling.com this year. What do you think GoBowling.com is?
Please, it has to be just a bowling, like actually like bowling. Like, please.
You are correct. You are correct.
God.
Yes. It's kind of weird because I'm not used to seeing something that I love bowling. I really do. I love going bowling. It's so weird that I'm not used to seeing something that I really love that has nothing to do with the military industrial complex sponsor something called the Military Bowl. Kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Understand.
I don't get it. But alas, it is what it is. Tyler, Tulane or Virginia Tech? I'm assuming we're both going to take Tulane here.
Yes, but it is interesting because they don't have Willie Fritz because he's going to be at Houston. Michael Pratt, I believe, will play. He has shut down transfer rumors last time I heard.
Yes, he is staying around. Yes.
And Virginia Tech's had a weird season. I mean, a good season under Brent Pry, all things considered. But
a step forward. I don't want people to see. I just don't want Virginia Tech fans, and I know do I know any Virginia Tech fans? Yeah, my mom's cousin. My mom's cousins are Virginia Tech fans. If I get to see them when I'm up there, I'd love to ask them to see what they who knows, they may not even know who Brent Pry is, but hopefully see if maybe they're kind of seeing like, what do you think of him? Because from all accounts and based off of, I read Godfrey's articles on Washington Post, Stephen Godfrey of Split Zone Duo. He's written some stuff on the Washington Post. He's talked about Virginia Tech, how he has a soft spot for them, how he loves them, kind of thing. I've been hearing it, and I think Virginia Tech is really taking a step forward. Like, they are on the master plan. I see Virginia Tech and Florida in similar ways in terms of rebuilding the image of a program and getting things like from a operational standpoint back on track. And I think that a lot of what Billy has done a lot of progress at Florida in that sense. I think Brent Pry has done more relative to what needed to be done at Virginia Tech, but it's nice to see that those results started to show their face a little bit this season. Like, I think they won 2 games last year in his first season, including like road losses to Old Dominion. Like, can't be doing that kind of thing. Why Virginia Tech? Why are you scheduling a road game at Old Dominion? but that's besides the point.
Have some pride, Virginia
Yeah,
Tech.
dude,
You
that's besides
used
the
to be
point.
on top of the world.
So I think that this is an attempt to at least get them to be more relevant. So I don't want people to see them losing to Tulane and be like, oh, well, yeah, Virginia Tech in the mud. Like, no. They're on a path going forward. I just think Tulane is a really good football team.
I like that.
All right, Tyler, here we go. This is a UFC card. This would be the featured prelim right here. Wednesday, the 27th of December at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN, we have the West Virginia Mountaineers taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels, 2 8-4 teams in the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
A+.
A+. Tyler, who do you have?
All right, important thing to note in this game. Drake May will be skipping this game. He is opting out of the bowl game. And
good choice in his part.
I think so. I will never disparage it because I get it and I see it. I would have loved to see I would have loved to see him in this bowl game. But
absolutely.
I think with that and with North Carolina has been great running the ball this season. So that's something to note. And I don't think that's going to go away. But a lot of their, attack is based off of how awesome Drake May has been. And having to deal with the loss of that, I'm going to go with West Virginia because I do really like what Neil Brown's been doing there. And I think he won't have, I think he's not really playing with any, with a lack of any weapons that he's been used to using. Not that West Virginia has a lot of weapons this season, but North Carolina is having to go into this game missing their star pitcher. And West Virginia doesn't have to do any of that. So I'm going to go with West Virginia.
I also am taking West Virginia. And for me, this is narrative based, right? I think the one piece of like actual information that I took into account was the Drake May sitting out. And to me, I went, okay, now I feel more comfortable with the emotional story driven pick that is West Virginia. Because if you look at where West Virginia was last year, if you told them that they went 9-4 this season with a Duke's Mayo bowl game victory, of course, the most prestigious of the bowl games, not in the playoffs, obviously, over a North Carolina team that people were expecting to compete for the ACC title with a potential number 1 overall pick at quarterback. Potential. Don't flood me. Don't flood my mentions. Don't text me. Jesus. I think that they would take it. And I think that they'd be like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Give Neil Brown the extension. I don't think you should give Neil Brown the extension. I think you should extend his contract on his current deal. Don't give him a boatload of money like that. But good for him. I think it's good. It worked out. It is proof of concept. There are results. This is where West Virginia should be. I think this is their not ceiling, but like one on the higher end of potential results for what they want as a program. You know what I mean? As someone who spent 6 weeks, 2 months living there, that's a big deal to them over there. Like they love their Mountaineers, and all they want is for them to be competitive and to be able to, put on a good product on the field and to beat Pittsburgh whenever they play. That's really what they want. And this would be a great cap to a fantastic, what an incredible 12 months for Neil Brown. And I think in a world where everyone is moving and transferring and NIL bids and the calendar's messed up and all of these things, having someone being given a chance for an extra year to fix things and doing it, I think is a fantastic example for the rest of college football. And I think we should be highlighting that story in Morgantown, West Virginia, especially what's happened over the past 12 months. So moving forward.
Amen.
The DirecTV Holiday Bowl. So, you know what DirecTV is? I don't know. We're so young and cutting the cord. I don't know what this DirecTV thing is.
I don't watch cable. Oh.
Once I heard that they used to have like Sunday Ticket before YouTube did. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Also, by the way, I did find this out on the Twitters. If you have DirecTV, you will not be able to watch Sunday Night Football that the Jags will be playing in tonight. So
what?
I vetoed this.
Are you serious?
That's what I heard.
Why?
I heard DirecTV's not showing the Sunday Night Football game today.
But it's NBC. Like it's an over-the-air free channel. You don't need DirecTV. If you have DirecTV, and this is obviously too late for a game that's going to kick off in 3 hours, you are not listening to this before then. But if you have DirecTV and that's true, and they're not showing the Sunday night game, buy an HD antenna at your local Best Buy or whatever for $25, and you'll get it for free. Like it is an over-the-air free television channel. You don't need cable for it. It's NBC, okay?
I know,
Jeez.
right?
Anyway, the Holiday Bowl, DirecTV, Louisville takes on USC, 8 o'clock Eastern, Wednesday the 27th on Fox. I have Louisville.
I do too. And I think with the argument I made for the whole Drake May thing is even more so because Caleb Williams is sitting out this bowl, and he matters even more to his team than Drake May does to that team.
Oh yeah.
And it's actually funny because USC and North Carolina are extremely similar teams.
Yes, they are.
Like extremely similar. They both can run the ball really well, but everything is predicated off of their quarterback. Now, USC is a little bit more dependent on theirs, and they have a worse defense, which is crazy to say when you're comparing to North Carolina. But it's like Caleb Williams, I think, does more for that offense than Drake May does marginally. Mm-hmm. They both do a lot, but from a creating outside of structure situation, Louisville couldn't move the ball at all against Florida State's defense in that ACC championship. That has been their biggest problem this year. I think that has more to say about Florida State's defense than it does about Louisville's offense. And, USC's defense is not, to borrow a phrase from the wonderful language of Spanish, is basura. And so I'm going to go with Louisville as well.
Yeah.
Against unranked USC. Ridiculous.
Here we go. Ready? I'll take all of what you said and just chunk it into a sentence. No Caleb Williams, defense still the same. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the explanation you need.
Which I do believe that Lincoln Riley made a recent defensive coordinator hire that I think I did like. But we'll talk about that another time.
Yes, I do. I agree. I think it was a great defensive hire, but we'll talk about that later. Before we get to the next game, I just want to point out I'm recording this and my dad's in the living room, and I must have been pretty loud when we were talking about like who is the first responder. And my dad texted me, "Your father is the first responder you speak of." Oh, love you, Poppy. I loved it. That was incredible. For those who don't know, my dad is assistant chief for Miami Beach Police. So yes, he is the first responder. In my life, he is the first responder. Absolutely. I just think it'd be hilarious if it was like, hey guys, the sponsor of this bowl game, this is the one. This is the first responder. This is my dad. This is Sergio's dad. Yes. We heard him talking about him on Sideline Judgment. Decided to bring him in. That was just a funny aside. Wednesday the 27th at 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. This is my game. This is my kind of game, Tyler. The Tax Act Texas Bowl. We know what Tax Act is, of course.
Yeah.
It is Oklahoma State taking on Texas A&M. Texas A&M, with everything that happened this season, finished the year 7-5. Like, kind of,
which is hilarious because that's like what they've always
exactly
do, but
right, exactly. All that money to just finish exactly what you have always.
Not feel like a 7-5 year though. It felt like a 5-7 year.
No, seems like they love 7s and 5s. That was a buyout joke. I think it was 77 million, but like close enough, right? Thank you. I lost Tyler. His head's down. It's hilarious.
Well, isn't there like
said this is
5 years left on his contract?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He signed that extension like last year. Like it was right after the COVID year. So 2021. So 2022, because after the 2021 year. Incredible. I said this is my kind of game because it's a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock with Oklahoma State A&M. Diego will be here for that, which means we're going to stay up late and watch this game. I'm going to have work the next day, but it's going to be fine. We're going to be cheering on Texas A&M because you think Diego's going to want to cheer for Oklahoma State.
I know he doesn't.
He doesn't. I'll tell you, I will be cheering for Oklahoma State in that game because that's who I picked in this game.
I have also picked Oklahoma State, and it's so weird when you look at this team. This team cannot figure out what it wants to be Oklahoma State.
No, they do not.
Like style, yes, they can. They know what they want to be. They want to run the ball, do deep shots to Brendan Presley with Alan Bowman. No, but I'm talking about like the trajectory, the journey, the fate, the destiny of this team. Just they absolutely are rewriting it every single game. They're like, no, we want to lose 45-3 to UCF. Actually, boom. Let's beat Oklahoma for like 2 straight seasons. Take the Bedlam rivalry back on our terms. You know what? Let's win one side of the conference. Boom. We lose in a blowout to Texas.
It would just be poetic for them to finish 10-4 with wins over Texas A&M and Oklahoma, but still come up short with nothing to show for it.
No banner to
Nope,
drop. Nothing.
no nothing.
I'm
Incredible.
gonna go with Oklahoma State as well.
Awesome. Thursday, the 28th, 11 a.m. on ESPN, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. We did this last year when we found out wasabi. I think I can't even just Google wasabi. I have to Google Wasabi Fenway Bowl because if I Google wasabi, it's gonna give me wasabi.
How to not brand your company in the age of the internet?
I know, right? Like wasabi. Okay, wasabi.com. Why is wasabi the world's hottest cloud storage? Like, dude, like,
because when I think of wasabi, I think of
cloud storage services. Yeah, exactly. This is Boston College against SMU. My brother in Christ. This is SMU in a landslide.
All the way.
This is another moment when I wish that I lived in the north. Wish that I lived in Boston. Like I kind of part-time did for that 1 year in grad school. Because I would take off of work and go to this game that kicks off at 11 in the morning. You know I love a college football game being played at a non-college football game venue. You know it. You know I love that. And of all ballparks, Fenway, one of my absolute favorite sporting venues in the world. Come on. Be incredible. All right. We both got SMU. We don't have to spend time on this. Cool. Tyler, we mentioned the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. I am proud to announce that the Bad Boy Mowers are back.
We're back.
This time, they said, you know what place has a bunch of lawns that need mowed? New York City. We're going to go ahead and sponsor the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium.
It's so stupid. I love
it. It's insane. It's insane. Thursday the 28th, 2:15 Eastern on ESPN. This matchup pits up Miami against Rutgers. Rutgers 6-6. I think we need to give a little applause. Miami. That's it. That's all I got to say. Miami. You think I'm going to pick against a team from the state of Florida going up against and playing a team from the New York State area in New York City? What is this? What kind of branding is this? You think I'm picking the New York team at Yankee Stadium? Is this what you think of me? Is this what you believe me to be?
I don't think that of you. I don't think that you would do that.
Listen, I just need Miami to have a win on the football field because we know that the next game that they play in football won't be a win for them. And that's okay.
You are a little too optimistic.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, it goes on brand with my Billy Napier apologist. Okay, it goes on. I have Miami.
I've almost fully transitioned into, as far as college football goes, being like I'm just gonna look at the depth chart when we start next season, about a week away. I'm not, like, oh, we got that person. Good to know. No, I actually will be taking the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Wow, little Greg Schiano stand over there.
Greg Schiano situation. I don't know what the heck is going on in Miami, and
no, I don't either.
Miami, I think the city, the region of South Florida has used all of its we hate New York goodwill up to this point this season, and I think the juice runs out for the Hurricanes. I think Miami swept the Jets.
Listen, we always got a little more I hate New York in us, okay? We always got a little I hate New York in us.
You know bottom of that well.
Which is crazy. I love New York City so much. I have such a good time whenever I go. I get to see theater, eat good food, spend incredible quality time with Alexa. We get to walk around, feel all chic like we're in a 90s rom-com. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things to do. I absolutely detest all of their sports teams. Like every single one of them, I hate them. I just passionate aggression towards the New York sports teams. I do want to highlight that Bad Boy Mowers is back. I know I did that at the beginning of this segment, but like, gotta love the fact we got Bad Boys back in the Mowers back in the picture with Bull.
100%.
All right, Tyler, let's move a little quicker here. We got some stuff to do. The 28th, 5:45 p.m. on ESPN, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It's played in Orlando.
This is a good game.
This is a good game. Kansas State against NC State. Like, this is another one of those, hey, we need to make some time to watch this game. Kansas State, NC State, 8-4 Kansas State, 9-3 NC State. The picks are split. The lines are close. 51-49 in favor of Kansas State for the public. -155 Kansas State, +135 NC State. This is as close to a pick 'em as we can get so far. Tyler, who do you have?
I got to go to Kansas State because I just truly cannot. I will not believe that NC State is going to win 10 games.
There we go.
I won't. I can't buy into that.
You and me both, my friend. This is a branding pick.
Absolutely.
But also, really like what I've seen out of Kansas State this season. Like, won the Big 12 last year, lost a bunch of big time players, and didn't have that much of a drop off in terms of talent, production, and competition. You know, maybe should have lost a couple more games, but also they're able to win those games. Like the UCF game, they probably should have lost, but they ended up winning the game. 8-4, good record. I think they beat NC State here. I think this is a team that always comes out and plays well. I don't want to say they're like bowl game proof in terms of like caring about the game and stuff. Like, no, I really think that they always, that coaching staff does a really good job. It's in their identity, you know, always hardworking, always playing. So I got Kansas State as well. The Valero Alamo Bowl, Thursday the 28th, 9:15 p.m. on ESPN.
Another
Diego and I
classic.
will be watching this game together because Oklahoma is taking on Arizona. Tyler, who do you
Who's
have?
Oklahoma's backup quarterback?
His name is. He's the freshman. He's the freshman. No, I do. I'm gonna punch myself in the face. Because I knew this. Like, I knew this so well. Jackson Arnold. There we go.
Okay.
Jackson Arnold. Diego's gonna yell at me and be like, "How come it took you so long to think of that?" Jackson Arnold.
You
Yes.
can cut all that out. You can cut all that out.
I'm not cutting anything. I'm not cutting a single
cut the part
thing.
where you're muted, but you gotta.
I'm not cutting a single thing, Tyler.
Okay.
I am on like, I need to get this done. Like, not taking my time.
All right, I'm going to pick. So in this game, Oklahoma versus Arizona, I am picking the Jed Fish-led Arizona Wildcats in this game. I don't expect you to agree with me, but possible future Florida Gators head coach if things don't break right for us.
Relax.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying, but it has to be put out there.
Relax.
Florida Gator alumni Jed Fish and the Arizona Wildcats with Noah Fifita at quarterback, who's been really good this season. And Oklahoma like missing like most of their offensive linemen?
All of them.
All of them?
I'm not kidding. Their entire starting offensive line is in the portal.
And not going to play, right?
I don't think they're playing. No, I don't think so.
Oh, boy. You're playing some defensive ends at tackle.
You might have to.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm going with Arizona.
I don't want to talk about this pick. I don't want to elaborate. I want to say it and move forward. I'm taking Arizona. Friday, noon Eastern. I'm not talking about the pick.
I'm not going to ask.
I gave you the information that not a single. I said that not a single starting offensive lineman will be playing in this game because they're in the portal. Okay. I just want to emphasize the logic behind the pick. I'm not talking about it. I'm just emphasizing. Friday, the 29th, noon Eastern, ESPN, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, what I call the Tyler Bowl, because this game is always in Jacksonville and reminds me of you. Tax Slayer, we know what Tax Slayer is. We also know what Valero is, the gas station. We knew that. All right, keep going. Do you know what Pop-Tarts are? I forgot to ask you. You aware what Pop-Tarts are?
Guy over here.
Big Pop-Tart guy over here. Big Pop-Tart guy. Okay. The Gator Bowl. Kentucky takes on Clemson. Who do you got?
I have Clemson.
I have Kentucky.
I don't necessarily feel great about it, but because like Mark Stoops is the type of game that Mark Stoops finds a way to win. But
that's my justification.
But I do think Clemson, when if both teams are firing on all cylinders, Clemson is clearly better.
I agree. I think Clemson's the better roster. I think Clemson's the better team. I'm not picking against Kentucky in this specific situation. Just this specific situation. So
gotcha.
Friday the 29th, 2:00 Eastern on CBS. Speaking of cereals and breakfast stuff, Tony the Tiger's Sun Bowl. Notre Dame is taking on Oregon State. Two top 20 teams here. Tyler, who do you got?
I just have to check something real quick because I have to know if Sam Hartman is playing in this game.
I believe he is not.
Okay, that changes things.
But I'll double check for you.
Yep, opting out of the team's upcoming appearance in the Sun Bowl in preparation for the NFL draft. I know that TJ Uiagalelei is electing to transfer. Jonathan Smith took the job at at Michigan State, which we've talked about at length. If we were playing, I wish this is the tough thing about the bowl games now, and like I get it, I'll never harp on it. I really wish we could have seen these teams play at their full roster situation. Like,
agreed.
I'm gonna pick Notre Dame because we're missing both quarterbacks. If Jonathan Smith was still the head coach, I'd be like, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. Obviously, I think that DJ gives them a bit more, but I'm like, he won 10 games last year with like, I don't even remember the guy's name. So like, I have full faith that or they can put together a game plan. Whereas I think a lot of Notre Dame's offensive success is based off of Sam Hartman. And however, in that case, when you're playing it, we have an interim head coach against Marcus Freeman, who's still got that defense, and they've got really good running backs. I'm going to go with Notre Dame.
I'm going with Oregon State, and it's because, yes, both quarterbacks are missing. The Hartman thing is a big deal for me, but more so the interim head coach or now the new head coach who was hired at Oregon State is the defensive coordinator. And I think that consistency is massive, especially on a defensive unit that was actually pretty good this season. I think we're going to get a snapshot into what Oregon State will become underneath that defensive coach. Run the football, defensive aggression, defensive identity. Having an extended practice period to be able to implement those things is a big deal. And so for me, I'm going to take Oregon State. 3:30 Eastern on ESPN on the 29th. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Iowa State and Memphis. Who do you got?
You know what I'm taking. You know, it's for the brand, Iowa State.
I respect it. I'm taking Memphis. It's a literal home game. The game is in their home stadium. They're 9-3 this season.
Home field advantage at the Liberty
plus
Bowl.
Money home dogs. This might be a Hard Rock bet kind of situation, my friend.
Oh!
Okay, this might be a Hard Rock bet situation, not just a picks pool situation. Okay, I'll take Memphis. We've arrived, Tyler.
The good stuff
at the New Year's 6 games. Friday night, the 29th, 8:00 Eastern on ESPN. I cannot wait to get home from work. I think Diego leaves this morning or during this day. He leaves on this day. So I'll probably go ahead and meet up with my friends and just end the year with some banger games. And this one to me is one I'm very excited for. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Ohio State takes on Missouri. Tyler, who do you have?
Ohio State takes on Missouri. Missouri had both these teams have been good. Kyle McCord obviously transferring to Syracuse as we've discussed. Not that he was a super plus in their offense. We're used to Ohio State having a star quarterback. He wasn't really that for them. He was just good. He was solid. I believe Marvin Harrison Jr. is still planning on playing, but I'm not sure.
He is still planning on playing. I don't know if planning on is a major thing. I don't know if he actually will. He's talked about maybe coming back for next season, which would be absurd to me. But there's a rumor going around. We don't know yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going to take Ohio State. Because I do think Missouri's been really good. I've very been impressed with him. Drinkowitz has saved his job. Billy Napier, please follow the path.
I want to emphasize that this is his 4th season in charge. I'm just saying.
However, I do think, I don't even know who Ohio State's backup quarterback is, but I like that defense, Marvin Harrison Jr., their running backs. I still think it's going to be you're not actually losing too much, I imagine, with Kyle McCord going out. Obviously, it would be better if he was playing. I think so. But I think that Ohio State can still beat Missouri.
Do you think there's anything to the rumors? Do you think there's anything to the rumors that Kyle McCord transferred because they were going to make a change at who quarterback 1 was? Which, if that's your logic, then you shouldn't really be worried about the quarterback in this situation. Maybe they're improving at quarterback, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, like Ohio State has a history of like having the better quarterback be on the bench, i.e., Joe Burrow.
Very true. Very true.
Uh,
I'm taking Missouri. I'm taking Missouri.
I like it.
This is I think they want to prove something to someone. And I think this will they're going to be up for this game in a way that Ohio State won't be.
Missouri is technically favored in this game.
Money they're minus 135. Ohio State's plus 115. In terms of the general public, only 28% of people have picked Missouri. I'm among them. So interesting there. Saturday, it's gonna be a great day of college football. Saturday the 30th, just gonna be a great day. Noon Eastern on ESPN, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Penn State Nittany Lions against the Ole Miss Rebels. This is pretty much split down the line. Minus 185 for Penn State, plus 155 for Ole Miss. 51% are picking Ole Miss compared to 49 for Penn State. And I am amongst the 51%, Tyler. I am picking the Ole Miss Rebels in this game. I think that there's a lot of momentum in Oxford right now. I think the defense is playing really well. I think Lane Kiffin is really proving that I guess you can portal up every single year at really important positions and compete.
Lane Kiffin sees an opportunity next season is what I would say. Like,
you think he's okay?
Well, so my analysis, because I'm picking Penn State, because I think they have the best defense of these two teams, and I think that I've said this, like Lane Kiffin has fielded the same 8-4 like Ole Miss team for the past like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
This, while I know it is a 10-2 team, this feels like one of those 8-4 teams. I think it's a down year for the SEC, and Ole Miss is taking advantage of that. But I don't feel spiritually that they've taken any sort of step. I do think with all the transfers they're getting, that next year is a big one for them. Because I do think that they have a chance to take that step.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they beat Mississippi State 17-7, and it's Egg Bowl. That's the thing. They've been playing in close games. We know that they can score a lot, but this still feels like that 8-4 kind of spiritual team. And
I see what you mean. Couple games went their way, but probably maybe should have been 8-4.
Not that Penn State is any sort of like juggernaut, but I do think Penn State has a better roster, and I think their defense is going to give Ole Miss trouble.
I think Penn State has a higher floor than Ole Miss. I don't know if their ceiling is as high as what Ole Miss's can be, but the floor is definitely higher on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Penn State.
Good pick. I get the logic. For me, it's because of that momentum. I think they really do want to go out there and win the game so that they can be, you say, hey, an 11-win Ole Miss team is coming back, in the first year of the 12-team playoff. There's a lot that can go on there. I'm with it.
Yeah.
12:30 Eastern, 2 o'clock. 12:30 Eastern. December 30th. I saw 12:30 and said 12:30 Eastern. The 30th of December on that Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern on ABC. Maryland takes on Auburn in the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. Maryland, right? Like
Maryland. I'm picking Maryland.
Auburn's not good.
I don't trust Auburn.
Okay, sounds good. The unofficial Orange Bowl, sponsored by Capital One. On that Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern. This is at 4? I thought this was the night game. Oh no, because there's a playoff game that night, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, the playoffs are on Monday. The playoffs are on Monday. Yeah. This is weird. They moved.
Weird.
This is the last big game of the day, and they're not putting it on. What's going on the 30th? There's something that's happening on the 30th. There's no way why is this game at 4 o'clock and not a night game?
I don't know, man.
This is weird. Anyway, FSU against Georgia. Who do you got, Tyler?
I hate this game.
I can go first. Mine's easy.
I know who I'm picking. It's Georgia.
Was a mutual because yes.
There's no way that this game ends that makes me happy.
Actually, no. There is, Tyler. There is a way this game ends that makes us happy. And it's just reminding ourselves, this isn't a playoff game.
There you go.
Please continue. You're welcome. See the smile? See the smile? You're welcome.
I am smiling. Yeah. I'm picking Georgia.
Yeah, dude. Listen. I want to say it once again. FSU 1,000% should have been in the playoffs. 100%. Completely agree. 100%. They got robbed. It's a travesty that the way that we decide a national champion in college football is more on who we think is better versus who actually played games in front of them and won the games. I agree. With that being said, I don't think Florida State is one of the 4 best teams in the country. And I don't think that Florida State with a second string or third string quarterback, let me rephrase that. I don't think that this Florida State team without Jordan Travis, regardless of who's the signal caller in this game, is better than Georgia. Full stop.
Yeah.
Going with the Bulldogs. You should have been in the playoff though, FSU. I'm giving you that. 100% agree. Should have been in there.
I would have loved to watch you get waxed by Michigan. I think, but I don't know.
Exactly. But I wanted to get confirmation of that. The Redacted Sports Arizona Bowl. If you are a longtime listener, you know which media company. You know which media.
You know of what we speak.
You know which media company that was founded by a Boston sports fan we like, and which media company that was founded by a Boston sports fan that we don't like. And I'll give you a hint. The one we like is The Ringer, founded by Bill Simmons. The one we don't like is the one we refer to as Redacted. You can put the puzzle pieces together there. It is on the CW network and also on Redacted's website. Wyoming takes on Toledo at 4:30 Eastern on that Saturday. I got Toledo.
I got Toledo as well.
Cool. I guess I have 2 MAC teams that I'm picking. So, no more conversations on that because Redacted. The 31st, there is no football on. That is a Sunday. The NFL will be. Oh, you know what? There's probably a big NFL game Saturday night, and they don't want to put the Orange Bowl at the same time. That's probably what it is. The ReliaQuest Bowl. LSU takes on Wisconsin Monday, the first college football game of 2024. It's a noon Eastern kickoff on ESPN. This is easy, man. We both got LSU, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I do believe that Jaden Daniels is playing, but
yes, I believe he is.
He at least has not said that he is not playing, and I think he needs it for draft stock purposes. And truly, I do not understand why Wisconsin is playing in this game.
They're 7-5. They want the bowl game. They get to.
Where's
this bowl game at?
I understand that part. I'm like, Wisconsin, I don't know. It just feels like 2 wildly different teams in regards to their success this year.
It's in Tampa. Is this the old Outback Bowl?
I think RIP Outback Bowl.
RIP. That is a first ballot Sideline Judgement bowl game sponsor Hall of Fame.
The most important bowl game.
That is a cornerstone. All right. This is for those wrestling fans listening, the Outback Bowl is to the Sideline Judgement bowl sponsors Hall of Fame is the same as what John Moxley is to AEW. I'm just putting that out there. All right. Integral aspect of the company.
We may have gained a 12-team playoff, but we lost the Outback Bowl. And I mean, was it worth it?
I don't know.
I can't say if it was.
This is the moment where, by the way, Tyler, I'm going to say we need to do a deep dive on the Chip Kelly playoff rant he did at the press conference. He clearly Chip, come on the pod. We want you on the pod. Chip.
Kelly, come on the pod.
Chip Kelly, come on the pod. No, but seriously, in the offseason, I want to have that conversation. This is me speaking out loud while we go. All right, we both got LSU. RIP to the Outback Bowl. 1:00 Eastern. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl. We now know what Verbo is. They have done enough marketing and ad space during college football for us to know that it's another Airbnb. We got it. Fiesta Bowl, which, by the way, Tostitos needs to be another entrant. Right?
Yeah.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl? Come on, dog. This is Oregon and Liberty. Oh, boy. Hey, listen.
I picked Oregon so fast.
The things that Oregon is going to do to Liberty. The things it's so funny. It's about to get real Republican with the way Oregon plays its football. All right. You may think that Oregon is this flashy, progressive, liberal that come from a state on the wet Pacific Northwest, the Birkenstocks. This is an SEC team that's going to run the football down your throats and remind you that they're doing it. They're going to beat you as they do it. I'm talking 60 points on the ground. I'm talking a touchdown every possession. I'm talking 3 and outs from the defense that's going to swarm Liberty. Like, this is going to get so aggressive. Like, if you just change the uniforms if you just change the logo on Oregon, you'd think this was an SEC team. It's insane how physical they play their football behind Dan Lanning with Dan Lanning at the helm. And I have never picked a game fast. Like, who is the 7% that's picking Liberty? I need to know this. I didn't know the libs existed. I didn't know.
I just love, I love that in this analysis we have the 2 phrases, I didn't know the libs existed, and also, it's about to get real Republican the way Oregon's about to run this football. I said that. So, Joe, I wrote that down.
Well, listen, you know how I workshop a lot of my takes with my college football friends, with my UCF friends and stuff? Yeah. I tell you that? I said that the other day, and they loved it. While we were watching some game, it was the SEC championship game, and I was like, Alabama, run the football. Like, they were doing some kind of pass play on like 2nd and whatever, and I was like, just run the ball. Like, you can't be stopped. And I turned to my friend Matt, and I said, you know me, I am the liberal progressive of this group. I was like, but sometimes when it comes to the end of the football game, I get real Republican with my football. Like, run the football. Run the damn ball, bro. Yeah. So I'm glad that came up.
I've watched it in me as I've gotten older, be like, run the ball more.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad always tells me, you're going to get more conservative as you get older. And I think that's true. I just don't think it's in the way he thought. Like, I've just decided to run the football more.
I don't feel that way politically. I definitely feel that way watching football.
Yeah. I love a 6'6" guard that's 350 pounds. Like, a pancake block is just so amusing and appealing to me. I love it so much. Right. Good segue.
Last bowl game we're gonna talk about on this.
Last one for this episode is the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. Look at this come full circle. We started with the Cheez-Its conversation, and here we are an hour and a half later with the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. That is a 1:00 Eastern kickoff on New Year's Day on ABC. Tennessee takes on Iowa. Now, Tennessee is minus 320 favorite. 73% of the country's picked them. Iowa's plus 260 with only 27% having picked them. Tyler, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm picking Iowa. And this is not, let me rephrase this. This is not a pick in favor of the Iowa offense. Let me rephrase this. I think the Iowa defense is so good and is so overlooked because of the atrocities to the sport of football that Brian and Kirk Ferentz have done to Iowa's offense. I think that defense is so good that it's finally the stage where people can go, whoa, the Iowa defense is that good, because they couldn't show it against Michigan by no fault of their own. And their whole schedule was kind of just like a joke in certain ways. They cruised to 10 wins without. Imagine if they had an offense. Seriously, imagine if they had a legit offense that was consistent enough to be competitive instead of the joke that they put on the field this season. Like, we could have legitimately had them in the playoff. I'm not kidding. Like, this is a playoff caliber defense. Like, they are insane on defense and special teams, and just a high school junior varsity outfit on offense. It's insane how the difference is. All of that being said, what have been the issues with Tennessee this season? What have we talked about Tennessee with their on the offense side of the ball?
Well, it's just teams that can run the ball and teams that can play sound defense really give them fits, and then they're just not able to. They're a one-trick pony.
Teams that can run the ball, maybe not so much Iowa, but great defenses.
Iowa's actually been okay running the ball. It's about the only thing on offense they can do okay. I will not give them the only thing
on offense they can do.
Yeah, I won't give them good. They can do it. They've. By the way, I just want to really quick. I'm looking at this. I want to give you the comparison of stats between the two quarterbacks of this team. If you're up for this,
Iowa has a quarterback.
Big if true.
Big if true.
Joe Milton III, thrown for 2,813 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Admirable, good numbers in college football. Not spectacular, but good. Deacon Hill, who's not started every game for Iowa. I want to clear, not most of them, but not every game.
Mm-hmm.
Deacon Hill, has thrown for 1,096 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Look at the comparison there.
I'm disgusted.
It's actually bad.
That's like
Iowa's
honestly,
leading receiver has a total of 299 yards on the season.
Are you kidding? Like, I think Tyreek Hill has had multiple games with more yards. And he's a tight end?
Yeah. Eric All. This is insane.
Biden, listen. Biden, listen. Listen very closely. Like, I'm not going to express my 100% opinions on the Middle East.
They only have 9 passing touchdowns in the entire year.
Listen, I'm not going to go in depth. This is not the place to do that in a conversation about what's happening in the Middle East. But like, if we could take just 1 million of all the money you're sending out to the Middle East and just like dedicate it to like prosecuting the Iowa football program for the crimes against offense that they're doing, the tragedy of the sport that is occurring in Iowa at the moment, we need help. We need government intervention on the Iowa offense. This is absurd. How is your lead? How are you 10? How did you win 10 games, make your conference championship game, and your leading receiver have 299 yards on the season, and he's a tight end?
Also, I want to point something out for the defense. The defense only has 1 pick six on the entire year.
Only
1 pick.
Only 1 pick six.
One of the best defenses in the country. No, and they have no fumble return touchdowns. When
the aliens come and they say like, please tell us about your hobbies, and we show them football stats, and they go, what happened to this Iowa team? We're gonna go, listen. We still don't know. All right, it's been 40 years. We don't know what's happening.
Great mysteries.
It's just sometimes things happen and we don't have explanations. Anyway, all this to be said, I'm taking Iowa because of the defense, and I'm taking Iowa because I do not trust Josh Heupel. And I think there have been games where that has shown and come up to fruition this year, especially when facing really good defenses, which I think Iowa is.
I hear all that. This is a true style of make fights game because one team has like one of the best defenses in the country. The other team has good defense. Tennessee has a good defense, and then they've got like a real explosive offense, but really hit or miss. I came in wanting to pick Tennessee, but now I kind of want to pick Iowa too. Like,
it's just one of those. I don't know, dude.
Okay. For as disgusting as we've talked about, and I am truly disgusted by it, I still feel like it's like, yeah, but they're gonna find a way to. Kirk Ferentz is a good coach. Like, I obviously, yes, he has committed war crimes.
I don't think you can be a good coach and still roll out that offense. Like, it's not good coaching. Sorry. I think he's good at managing a defense. I don't want to put the label of good coach on someone who wastes a generational defense like we're seeing in Iowa with that atrocity on offense. I just can't do it.
All right. That's a good point.
All righty.
But I will take Iowa because I will always fall back on that. I don't really trust Josh Heupel.
There it is, boys. All right. We're going to wrap this episode up. It was a long boy, obviously. We did all the picks. We're going to be back. Our next episode will have the semifinals and who we think will win the national championship conversation. And then we're going to be off for the rest of 2023. We will come back at the beginning of 2024. We will talk what happened in the semifinals. We will preview the Natty with whoever it may be that ends up there. And we will also have a separate episode dedicated to the Florida Gators postmortem. We're recording this on Sunday the 17th, which means that National Signing Day has not happened on Wednesday the 20th. We believe that we need to wait until that happens so that we can then have a true picture as to what the year and season looked like for the Florida Gators. That is a massive, massive part of the program's health and trajectory going forward. And we need to make sure that we are have all the data points available, I think is the best way to put it, Tyler.
Yeah,
so
that's the best way.
We're going to wait on that one. So, Tyler, anything else you want to say before we sign off for this episode?
It's always a pleasure to go to bowl season. I know people always talk about how bowl games don't matter, but
Yeah.
they matter to the players and to the players who get to play in them. And I mean, it's a weird thing about the sport now with the playoff and everything that it has become more like exhibition games that you would expect to happen at the beginning of the year. But it's a nice little, it will always hit a nice little holiday sweet spot for me. And I'm glad to be able to do this with you and all our friends. And unfortunately, in one way, I'm very happy the Gators are not a part of it, so I don't have to watch it.
It's more of a, you know what, like, I don't want to think about that. Like, I don't want to get
Take it off.
Gator games are take a lot on us emotionally, good or bad, whether it's good or bad. It's like, I know I'm going to be emotionally invested, and given the state of the Dolphins season right now, we have next week. One football team at a time right now. Okay, I can't deal with the Gators in the moment, so we're going to deal with the Dolphins. You're going to deal with the Jags. We're going to get out of here. We're going to record our next episode, which will come out later on. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We appreciate this holiday tradition of this super duper megapod. We really, really appreciate it. You sticking through. Have a very, 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 very Merry Christmas. We greatly appreciate you all. And we will be back with our semifinal preview very shortly. So, Tyler, this has been another episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And we are not biased, Tyler, but go Gators.
Go Gators.